Welcome to this year's Long Story Short. My name is Karabat Akshanian, and I am the sponsor of this wonderful production where we allow our very own students to enhance their directing skills and run the show. This year, we have 3 student directors, Sophia Diamond, Kaylee Dwyer, and Zach Zeller. I am so proud of all of their efforts during these last few weeks of them rehearsing over Zoom with their actors, and I could not be prouder, and they should be very proud of themselves as well. Before I give the show away to them, I just want to say thank you so much to everyone who is tuning in to our live stream right now, and I hope you enjoy the show. Now, a few words from our directors.
So this show is basically a collection of monologues written by a bunch of students at the beginning of quarantine. They go over their quarantine lives, their thoughts on the world. Some are comedic, some are dramatic, but they're all entertaining, and I'm sure you're going to enjoy every single one of them.
We want to thank our theater boosters for always keeping our bellies full, making sure you can see us, and always giving us their full support.
We'd also like to thank BHS admins and sponsors for allowing us to do the show and organizing the show. Make sure to tune back in on November 6th through 8th for our fall play. And just thank you again for tuning in, and please enjoy the show.
Hello. Today, my friends and I will be performing the words of teenagers from across the country. Kids just like us who put to paper what this experience of quarantine in the midst of a global pandemic is really like. And while what you'll hear today won't necessarily reflect our own individual perspectives, there is a shared understanding of our united new reality that feels universal. We'll start at the beginning, when the regular stuff started to change. I used to have a bright orange bike. There were 21 gears, there were durable tires and shocks so I could hop off curbs and coast off-road. There were lights on the front and back so I could see where I was going and everyone else could too. There was nowhere I couldn't ride it. Sometimes I would ride down to the train station, lock my bike up with all of the others, and hop a train into the city. And it was always there when I got back. Until one night, it wasn't. Turns out there are no indestructible bike locks. Just like I'd always assumed my bike would be waiting for me, I always thought I knew what my senior year in high school would be like. 180 days. A day when we would all skip school and go to the beach. A day when we would visit our elementary schools. There would be a play, a prom, and endless nights with friends. There would be hundreds of red graduation caps floating in a blue sky, just for an instant. But like my bike, that imagined senior year is gone now too. I guess anything can be taken from you. The walk home the night my bike was stolen felt longer without my wheels. But this, I don't think I know what this feels like yet. I don't know. Maybe it'll hit me soon. Everything seems like a maybe.
It was around midnight on January 24th or the 25th. Me and Olivia were the last ones left in the school dining hall after the Lunar New Year party. I asked Olivia if her mom could give me a ride to the Airbnb because my mom, who had just flown in all the way from Beijing, was staying there. Olivia said sure, but when we got back to the car, I was confused. Her mom was wearing a face mask, and then Olivia pulled a mask out of her bag and put one on too. They explained that Olivia's mom had just gotten back from China, so they were being extra careful, taking precautions. Her mom was sleeping in the basement. I told them that my mom had just arrived from Beijing. They suggested that we stay in different basements, use different bathrooms, don't hug, and wear face masks at all times. I felt terrified. The last time I'd seen my mom was from the year before, and she was only supposed to be here for a week. I didn't want to feel alienated from her. I wanted to be close with her. Is this really necessary? I asked Olivia's mom. It's pretty bad back here, her mom replied. That same week, mother and daughter isolated from each other, and I experienced a feeling of distance I never felt before. Now it's just the beginning.
My brother's boyfriend drinks a lot of milk. I didn't realize how much until the second week of quarantine. He drinks so much milk. He's from Greece, but he was visiting us from college in spring break, and now he can't go back to college or back home. So he's staying in the room my mama used to use as our office. We used to get along fine, but now we're fighting all the time. He's not just normal loud, he's blast Eurovision on a nightly basis kind of loud. He's like that little rubber toy that you leave on your desk and out of nowhere there'll be rockets in the air and scares the crap out of you. He's like that. I try to have sympathy. I know this must be difficult for him, adjusting to a new household, a new culture, but this situation has me hella confused. Last night, while I was washing dishes, which shouldn't even be my chore, but Mom makes me wash the dishes every night, even if I didn't eat a single grain of granola, I scrubbed the fried rice off a pan and began to cry. Maybe it was because of something I read in the New York Times, but then again, maybe it was because of something else.
Quarantine is a luxury some people don't have. I took a ride in my car and saw a homeless man. What choice does he have but to shiver in cold and stand there as people pass? He isn't wearing a mask. Maybe he can't. He isn't staying at home because he doesn't have a home to go to. Quarantine is something I've only heard in movies. I have moments where I forget, but then I remember.
Looks so dry, and my neighbors are still outside. My parents are always home now. Good time to family bond, I guess. I have online school. I actually prefer it. It's much more better than real school. People are dying, but my parents stocked up on food, especially my favorite, mozzarella sticks with sweet and sour sauce. Some say this disease is fake, while others say not to take a vaccine when there is one. I say, let's see what kills us first. Oh, Corona, how sweet and sour you must be.
Lives are changing. Those on the front line working 16-hour shifts, all of us refraining from touching, avoiding the touch that the human body yearns for, searching for connection, keeping our social distance. We avoid the touch that we use to greet one another, searching for connection, keeping our social distance. We avoid the touch that we once took for granted, searching for connection, keeping our social distance. This virus has got us in quarantine. We're trapped at home, only able to leave wearing gloves, masks. I cannot visit the ones that I love, and neither could you. We're searching for connection, keeping our social distance. In my neighborhood, people gather on their balconies to clap and sing. All day long, I watch TV, waiting for an update, an end date, a sign. And yet the numbers climb. Up, up, the death toll rises. I wash my hands. 100 times I wash my hands. I pray for this to be over very soon, yet my heart feels different now. Are we stuck here forever, searching for connection and keeping our social distance?
It seems that every 100 years or so, the world is cursed with a pandemic. And it just so happens that this time around, I, a 15-year-old girl, had been caught in the middle of it. My mind's been running wild. I find myself questioning the cycle of my life lately. The cycle of going to school, seeing my friends, getting into the same drama, and then getting over it. I think to myself, what is this for? Do I think too deeply? Or not deeply enough? Does it matter? Maybe I don't need all that. Maybe all I really need to be doing, all I really need to be learning, I'm doing and learning in these weeks stuck at home. I learned how to tend a garden. I learned how to make a lemon cake. I learned how to make a chocolate chip cookie where the main ingredient is avocado. I learned how to cook dinner for my family, how to properly walk my dog, and how to be healthy. Like, really healthy. Not just how to get crazy skinny. I mean, sure, school is useful. It's where I learned algebra and where I made my best friends. But I think I'd rather learn about living and being happy. I don't know. I guess I'm just alive and thinking. And maybe that's enough right now.
Bored. Yeah, that's it. Bored. Feels like the only way to express how I feel. Can't believe that a virus can make this feel so real. People dying left and right. People wearing masks, trying to survive the night. We want everything to be just fine, yet some just can't bear to listen to what will get us there. Just stay in the house, they say. Be patient, they say. But until then, bored. Yeah, that's it, bored.
During this weird time of people protecting others to save their families, it has really made me wonder what I want to do. And I think when it really all boils down to it, it's about love. Love. People staying away from their families to protect them, that's out of love. It's strange and unreal, but it's still love. And I realized that that's what I want to do. I want to do what I love around people that I love, because time suddenly feels unique, mysterious, and limited.
The past few months have been a time of unprecedented uncertainty. People have had to go through problems they never thought they would have encountered. People have had to go buy food in bulk because they don't know when they'll get the chance to get more. I went to go buy hot sauce. Usually there are dozens of brands, but when I got there, there was only one bottle and one brand left, so I took it. When I learned that I had to stay home in order to survive, it was jarring. It was surreal to learn that in my senior year of high school, I wouldn't get to have a prom or a graduation. I don't even know what's going to happen when I get to college. Even if I do get to go to college, I don't even know if I'm going to have a summer job or not. This virus has brought the whole world into a standstill.
I used to wake up every day looking up at the ceiling, looking for some motivation to get up and go to school each morning. Then my mother would kick down my door in her Dominican accent say, "You have to go to school or you no graduate." 4 long years, every day I would hear, "You have to go to school or you no graduate." Well, now what? Where's the future I was promised? I blame the world leaders who don't know how to lead. My father was absent those years where I couldn't wake up and go to school. It was my single mother yelling from the doorway that got me up and working hard these past 4 years. Track, baseball, debate, musicals, these things took my time but gave me life. 4 years to get a diploma. A diploma that will most likely be a PDF file attached to an email, but a diploma all the same. I will graduate, Mama. I will get out of bed, go to school, and graduate. The show must go on.
And so it must. When this thing first began, none of us thought it would go on as long as it has. But yet, here we are, far from those first days of unknown and confusion, and now smack dab in the middle, with no definitive end in sight.
At first, it was only 2 weeks, then 4, then who knows? Time has little meaning when there's no big sports games on TV, no big tests to study for, no hanging out with friends. There's no reason to mark the calendar. Every week blends in with the next. I do little things here and there to try and make the days stand out from each other. Schedule a Zoom call with friends, start a new workout routine, maybe go for a walk. I guess these little things give me something to look forward to, something to do. But that just shows how depressing the situation really is. The biggest event of my week was a Zoom call and a walk around the block. I try to feel grateful about having a loving home and food on the table. And I am grateful, but I can't help it. I don't feel fortunate. My 2 favorite things are playing softball and going to sleepaway camp. Softball is done for, and the fear that camp might be too is so painfully hard to imagine that I don't think I can. Even thinking about having the 2 things in the world that bring me the most happiness taken away from me makes me want to break everything in my house. So many people are still hanging out with friends, still going into public places, still ignoring the CDC recommendations and still refusing to think long term. And it's those people that ruin it for everyone and flip off the switch that would turn on the light at the end of the tunnel. I feel like a 2nd grade kid who's sitting quietly in class but has recess taken away because 2 kids in the back of the class won't shut up and do their work. Those 2 kids have ruined recess for everyone. Time is irrelevant until this whole pandemic is resolved and the light at the end of the tunnel is turned back on.
I've learned to share my smile, even with my mouth covered. Right before the whole world went into lockdown, my family and I landed in Prague. We flew all across the world, from my grandparents' house to Boston, just as a new law came into effect, requiring all of the Czech Republic to wear face masks in public. I did my best with my sewing rudimentary skills to create a makeshift Rowski from an old t-shirt. Barely able to breathe or see, I went for walks around the city, something I was used to doing anyways, but now it was shocking. I could barely recognize people I knew because everyone just became a faceless stranger, and I couldn't help feeling like the apocalypse had arrived. How obscene the models uncovered now seemed looming over me from huge billboard ads that lined the streets. Those models were the only faces I could see. Those nameless models, they were the only faces I could see. One day I came home from a shopping trip, and I carefully took off my mask, diligently washed my hands, and caught my reflection in my own mirror. I don't know why, but I smiled. I smiled, and I let my eyes crinkled up, and I grinned. And I realized that your smile, it happens with your whole face, not just your mouth. Then on, while walking the streets of Prague, I smile at everyone, despite my face mask. I let my eyes crinkle up, and I think of all the reasons I have to be thankful. I could share this smile, I think, even with the mask on.
My bedroom is in the attic. It was supposed to be temporary, my mom said. I wasn't supposed to be up here for long, but now, I'm up here all day. A dresser, bed, bookshelves, a desk. It's where I sleep, where I type, where I paint. It's where my head aches and my back aches and my toe aches because I stubbed it against the bed frame that sticks up because technically no one is supposed to be living up here. I bounce around, creating off the plaster walls like a runway marble on a miniature pinball machine. When I want to focus, like when I want to feel like the world is less like my hair when I first wake up and more like my hair after I take a shower, I sit at my desk. But my desk can't drown out the noises of the world below. The basketball my brother's bouncing, the engine of a bored neighbor just chilling in his car, the lawnmower of a guy with a perfect lawn. Big windows are a bad idea for a study hall. They become my refuge way up here in my attic bedroom, or as I like to think of it now, my watchtower.
On the day July 21st, I was born alongside my best friend TJ. Our moms were best friends and were always together, so we gradually became besties too. I was a crybaby, still am, but he was always the one to tell me jokes and make everything okay. In the 3rd grade, a girl told me something I never forgot. Someday, you and TJ will be like a mommy and daddy. My sister says best friends always wind up together. I never told TJ what that girl said. Everything we did was 100% together. He felt that everything was done better as a team instead of just by yourself, so that's how we did everything. But when we turned 10, things changed with us. I started cheerleading and he started playing football, and before we knew it, we rarely had time for each other. Now we're in high school and everything is different. It would be nice if best friends did wind up together. "What's shakin', bacon?" TJ asked me in the hall. "Your birthday's coming soon. What are you planning?" he asked me, leaning against my locker. Turns out, it doesn't matter what I was planning for my birthday or whether or not TJ was flirting with me against my locker that day. Everything is frozen now, including me and TJ.
Yesterday, I watched my mom watch her uncle's funeral from a laptop computer in our living room. The stream wasn't live. She had waited for days to watch it. I guess she didn't want to inconvenience us. As a family of 5 living in the backwoods of New Hampshire, our internet connection can hardly withstand a single phone call, let alone a video stream. Sometimes we have to turn off all our devices and still hope that the internet will work. My mom never mentioned needing the internet that day. I guess she didn't want to disrupt my online classes, which she calls essential. In the video of her uncle's funeral, everyone was wearing masks and gloves. They were unable to shake hands or embrace one another. I watched grown men hesitate to wipe the tears from their eyes as they walked into a room alone to grieve their dead friend, brother, uncle. That day, my mom asked me if anyone needed the internet from 2 to 3. I said, "Keep watching, Mom. Nothing else matters."
The days, they've just started to repeat themselves. I can't remember if it's Wednesday or Thursday. Did I take the elderberry my mom left for me? Did I take the black seed oil? God, I don't know. Every day's became a blur. When you have people within your household who are essential workers, one being your mother, the feeling of fear begins to grow larger every day. When I hear her cough, I panic. When she sneezes, I panic. The other day, she complained about shortness of breath. Does she have it? I panic. This is what each day looks like for me. The same feeling of fear, panic, agitation, and impatience. Every day, it's just the same.
I can't do this anymore. I've run out of snacks. I've run out of Netflix shows to watch. 437. That's the number of peanut M&Ms I've counted in this jar my mom bought me on Easter. I've mastered every gadget on my Apple Watch. I could probably do the guy's job at the Apple Store. I've been digging so many caves in Minecraft, I probably could have done all the silver mine work in Mexico in the 1700s myself. I'm taking 3 showers a day as an activity. I'm taking naps like a baby.
Thought we'd be back in school by now, but nope, no end in sight. Sitting in my own thoughts is no good. It gets depressing. I keep thinking about the number of deaths in my state, in my country, and my world, increasing by thousands every day. But then I distract myself with online school. I guess it's not all that bad. These classes are a breeze now. Everyone did pretty good on their exams. I'm pretty sure most people cheated, but whatever. Does it even matter now? All I used to say to myself when I was in school is how much I wanted to be home. But now, all I want to do is go to school. I miss my friends. I miss restaurants, ice cream parlors, movie theaters, fun. Ugh, this is so boring. I can't do this anymore.
Honestly, quarantine has been fun for me. Since the beginning of spring break, I've been quarantined with my mom. I've watched new shows and started to exercise. I haven't touched the piano in a while, but it's really been a great time for me. I get to do lots of things I've always wanted to, like learn a new coffee recipe from TikTok, which tasted awful, but I still got to try it. Watch movies with my mom, which is fun, even though she still cannot tell the difference between Professor X and Magneto, sleep in every day, and read a lot. I read And Then There Were None by Agatha Christie. 100% recommended. I'm also rereading Little Women, one of my favorite movies of the year. The good thing about this quarantine is that I'm always with my mom, so I can always find comfort from her. Quarantine has given me a lot of time to think about who I want to be in the future. I don't think being a piano teacher is my dream job. I think there's something else out there for me.
I wake up to the sun on my face. Its rays fall across my skin. The warmth forces a smile, and it feels like the sun is trying to coax me outside to join her. I hear the birds chirping in the morning, but somehow, everything just feels too quiet. The world is still. I am still. For a moment, I just sit there and breathe. Then it hits me. It hits me, and then the birds, they're just chirping, and somehow everything that was once quiet just feels so loud. I wake up, and I get ready for the day. I get ready for the normal online school, and I sit down and do online school. I can't concentrate. It feels like the world has decided to play some kid of a sick joke on all of us. And I'm waiting for the film crew to bust out of my closet and just point out all the hidden cameras. I stare at my computer, but then I realize that me and the silence, we can actually become friends because the silence can't be quarantined, right?
I clean the windows sometimes. I don't know why, I just do. Something about the chore helps the sun shine through. I clean the windows sometimes, and when I do, I look down. I see glistening, pebble, perfect, it's shaped round. I clean the windows sometimes. It seems to smirk. It's smirking at me as if it knows where I'm going through. Sometimes I think about breaking the clean window just so I can get some fresh air, just so that I can calm down, just so that I can clean that pebble. Is mocking me? I wonder. I clean the window sometimes, but what I really want to do is get out of there.
Over 140 days into this quarantine, and I think what we all really want to do is to get out of here. But we can't. Not yet. But that doesn't mean that we've lost hope. We are the next generation of leaders, thinkers, and doers. Optimism is up to us.
I saw a shooting star last night. I was in my backyard, staring up through the branches of a giant tree. As soon as I spotted that star, I felt a gasp escape my throat, cold air rushing into my lungs. It took me off of this planet into the wide universe. I wondered, who else is looking up in the sky? At least 5 people on my block have gotten COVID-19. One of them died. He was a grandfather who came here to be with his daughter's family. I remember looking out my window years ago when the moving truck arrived and he first appeared. And looking out my window last week when the ambulance arrived to take him away. My world is wildly different. We've all been taken out of our universe and thrown into another. We've been thrust into darkness, just like that flying meteor. But I try to remember that although the night sky looks black, there are more than 100 billion stars in our galaxy, lighting the way on a long, dark path.
Honestly, my life has gotten significantly better since I've been in quarantine. I mean, of course, it hurts me that so many people are hurting, and if I could change the circumstances, I would, but all I can say is that, personally, my life has changed for the better. During spring break, I went to the grocery store, and a baby coughed nearby in the checkout aisle, and the whole store seemed to twitch. Citywide warnings had begun, but they were slow to reach Wilmington, North Carolina. I had just started seeing the sky, and the world was exciting and filled with rainbows. As warnings on the TV grew stronger, Billy, that's his name, and I decided that if one of us got sick, we'd both get sick. We were together all the time. Slowly but surely, the beaches and the restaurants and the libraries all shut down, but Billy was everything I wanted, so I didn't even care. My mom let me basically quarantine with him, so we were watching Twilight movies and eating takeout and ramen every night. When school started back up again, we moved to a pass-fail system, which coordinated conveniently with the schedule of falling in love with a boy. Listen, it's not just my mental health that has skyrocketed. The world seems to be slowly recovering from global warming. I see all these posts on Instagram questioning whether humans were the virus all along. I think I'm just feeling love in my life for the first time and wondering if it's this feeling that I'm experiencing for the first time that the earth has been needing for a long time.
Yes, there is fear. There is isolation, death. There are overcrowded stores and closed schools. But we do not have to hate each other. We do not have to fail or suffer from loneliness. We do not have to be selfish with the tissue. We do not have to allow our fears to kill our souls. For if we allow our fears to kill us or hurt us or leave us lonely, the more damage will be done. Remember, after a storm comes a rainbow. My grandma taught me that.
Freedom is wanted by all but given to some. Some people walk around in worry while others walk around without fear. Am I talking about race in America or about this quarantine? Am I talking about how a black person can't even go outside while wearing a mask in fear of getting shot, while a white man wearing the same mask has nothing to fear but the virus? And lines at the streets, at the grocery stores. Why should I have to worry about the police? I know my rights. This is the United States. I have the right to live in peace. I have the right to live in freedom. Everybody is afraid of every cough and every sneeze, but they're more even afraid of if it's coming from a Chinese man. And every time I turn on the news, I don't see a story about a black person being cared for. Instead, I see a story about them being misdiagnosed or turned away. Oops, someone says when that person dies, sorry. Those families don't want oops. Those families don't want sorry. They want the same rights as the white family had in that same waiting room. This time that we're all living in will be recorded in history books. How we all act, how we're all treated. It will be passed down through generations. So what's our history going to be?
I am Rapunzel, and this is my tower. Dramatic? Yeah, but it's the truth. I'm confined to my house, so it's only reasonable that I feel this way. I have my driveway and I have my backyard, but it doesn't feel like enough. Oh, how I can't wait to go beyond my home again. What will I do? What will I say? Oh yes, I know. I know exactly what I'll do. The first thing I'll do is take a walk. And the first thing I'll say is hello. Hello to the birds, hello to the trees, hello to the sunshine on my face. Hello to the grass that's not in my backyard. Hello to the clouds I could only see from that one window downstairs. I will talk to the flowers who have been waiting for my arrival. Oh, how have we missed you, the flowers will say. I will say hello to my first cup of coffee with a slight touch of my lips, and hello to the sriracha on my salad when I tell a waiter to just go with it. And when I see my friends again, I will pause. I will forget that it's okay at first, but then I'll remember that it's over and I'll pull them into a warm hug and our bodies will say hello again. But for now, I sit and wait, and I write. I write about how I will say hello. Hello to the birds, hello to the trees, hello to the sun beating down on my face, hello to the grass, hello to the clouds I could only see from that one window. And I will talk to the flowers who are waiting for me, and they will say, oh, how we missed you.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us for this show. We'd just like to remind you that the fall play is going to be November 6th through 8th, so come join us then. The recorded version of this will be posted after the live stream ends, so don't worry if you missed it or any of your family members missed it. We would just like to say again, thank you for joining us today. I hope you enjoyed the show.